Today we're going to be doing multicam, filmmaking, generally that thing. Yeah.
Hello?
Here is a house. A doll's house. Hello, Mr. Doll. What are you doing?
I'm having a conversation on the telephone.
Oh, good on you. Hello, Mrs. Doll. What's cooking?
I've varnished the bread.
Go on, shake a leg, Raggedy. Oh, that's torn it. Oh, sorry, Mr. Doll. Meantime, something was stirring somewhere.
The pouches, they keep bouncing off him.
Narrow here. Don't sound suspicious. He speaks from the heart.
Proper response, a lot but the songs off the boss. It's the quality songs that we seem to just make up. It's the great stuff that's spontaneous when my brain erupts. I came in and just caned it up. Hey, just what just happened there? I traveled through the amperes, through the hectares, and yes, yeah, that's the squares. Let me levitate and let it propel the blade. Let me just find my way to heaven's gate. Wait, let me just set it, mate. I set it up. Excellent stuff. 360 degrees.
That was absolutely brilliant, Nick. One day I've got to come with you and do one of those shoots. I hope the audio for you guys was good. I hope you had your headphones on, you could really listen to it. But I'm going to get on moving. I'm going to hand back to you and tell us how you go about prepping for a shoot.
How I do it, what's always, good practice is to make, good production notes, check out the location, scout it, make sure you've got good angles to place your subjects, especially if you're doing interviews, nice background for the wide shot, and then obviously room to maneuver for if you're using a multicam like a second cam or third cam. obviously preparation is key to anything. You know, it always works to have good notes before you get down there. The right equipment, camera equipment. I use the Lumix S1H with a GH5S and a Panasonic EVA1 broadcast camera, stroke cine camera. And the great thing about using those is that they all cut together really well with colour science. If you're doing interviews, multicam interviews like this, we're going to have a quick throw around the room here, John. Is that okay with you?
That's fine with me, I think.
So what I like to always do, we've got a 3-cam setup here. We've got the wide establishing shot, getting a mid shot from the waist up, the table here. If we go to camera 2, we've got Tama here with a 50 to 200 lens. I'm going to wave to her. And yeah, something like to get in sort of mid to tight from that angle. And then we've got what we call camera 3, which is a sexy cam. We have Simon here. Hi Simon, how you doing? And sexy cam, camera 3 can pretty much have a little bit of rule of, you know, like mess around with, jump around, zoom in and out. He's got a lot more play than the other cams. So he always knows he's got to fall, he can fall back on the center cam, the wide angle cam and camera 2. Yeah. So it gives him a bit more artistic, creative freedom, I should say. You know, some of the functions in the camera which you can go through to help you get really good exposure in the studio, what we call internal shots, or external interviews, multicam shots. So keep an eye on some of the recording parameters. I always set the same cameras, the different cameras with the same frame rate setting. In Pallav we're 25p because it's 50 hertz with the lights. So make sure your frame rate's right, your colors are the same as in the picture profile. If you've got a lot of time, you can shoot in a logarithmic curve, V-log, using V-gamut. If you haven't got a lot of time, you need to turn it around really quick for broadcast. I always choose the Light 709 picture profile and get all the cameras to be the same. Thankfully, these have all got the Light 709. If not, standard profile is kind of like the sort of native, natural kind of look, and looks the same across all the cameras. Okay, so let's have a look at timecode, which is really key to getting good multi-camera audio and synchronicity in your post-production. And the way we do that is we're using a tentacle sync. And the great thing about this, it's a beautiful little thing. It's got a really nice, accurate crystal clock in it, John. It's also got a microphone on the top, so you can actually record scratch audio. Here we are with a GH5, which doesn't have timecode function built in. And on one channel I can record you know, the timecode signal, that screechy noise. And on the other channel I can plug in, voila, a microphone to get really good audio on the right channel. This is a BNC. And that instantly will sync up like the S1H to with the flash port to the timecode that you've set in the tentacle. There are, you know, lots of niceties about filming with a multicam setup, John. You know, for example, I'll name one of them. You can get things done so much quicker, you know, like we are doing here. If we had a single camera, we'll be chopping and changing angle positions to do pickup shots. With a multicam setup, like in the TV studio, we can shoot, you know, 2 angle cameras at 2 different characters at the same time, the wide shot. So we've got 3 or 4 different perspectives in the same amount of time. So for me, you know, it's a cost-effective time saver. Checklist before recording. Take a snapshot of this because I think it's important that you remember that, you know, all these, that's my list, personal list to check off. You know, check your SD cards even. Have you formatted them? Ensure timecode is set and running across all the cameras and all the picture profiles are the same. Record the color bar for a few seconds. We have, you know, SMPTE EBU color bars, which are really, really good for matching across cameras. The GH5S, the S1H, the EVA1, all have those same color bars. It also has a 1K test tone, John. You want to mention what that's about?
Yeah, test tone across your audio line. It means you are able to match up your levels at a future time, which is always a good thing because the last thing you want to do when you are sending something to a broadcaster is have the wrong audio levels. Otherwise, they will reject what you've sent them.
Absolutely. Framing rules. You know, switch on the functionality, the rule of thirds. Rule of thirds where it chops it up into 3, John. Get the eyes, the head in that top third. Of course, with the in tight shots, you know, you don't want to be too low, you don't want to be too high, so you're off shot. Use these framing rules. And think about the Fibonacci rule. The Fibonacci rule was like a compositional framing rule. You can look at this online, but it gives you that natural kind of human look, that pleasing look that we always try and chase. If you know the rules, then you can go and break them.
Yeah,
Isn't that true?
Yep.
Framing, get to know your shots. You know, if you don't know your shots, or you're beginning, just setting out into filmmaking and doing stuff like documentaries, you know, a lot of you guys are probably doing music videos and you're doing post-music performance concert interviews. You know, get to know the shots, you know, and what they stand for. This is all sort of the lingo of filmmaking. MS shot is a mid shot. It all goes without saying. The MCU is a mid close-up, the CU a close-up, and the ECU an extreme close-up. You know, we're really coming in tight. And they should match up with some of the camera lenses that you're going to be using to enable you to get that particular shot. So as well as positioning, get to know your shots. Preparation, when you're doing something like a narrative drama, or you're doing even something like an interview, yeah, break it down into a shot list. This is a little cutaway here of one of my recent student ones. You can see here that the point of view, POV, dialogue shots, that sort of thing, close-ups, mid shots, the two shot we call it when there's two of us in shot right now, the three shot, and get to know these shots. It really does come in handy. There's lots of information again on this online. And height is another thing, John.
Yeah.
If we had a imaginary measurement, this is sort of showing you the bird's eye view, the high view, the eye view. We always set the camera, our main camera, slightly coming down so you're not looking up the nose, but always at eye view. So you can see our master shot is balanced between the composition of the frame, the mid shot, and the eye view. So we're actually at eye level, and that means it's more pleasing to the viewer when they watch it back. And likewise, with the other cameras here, we can also establish that the same height. The Sexier cam can do what it likes, but it's slightly higher on the high view. Using gimbals or smaller tripods, you can get a lot lower down. Something like a handheld, like the S1H here on a cage rig, you can bring this fantastic flip screen up or down, so you can hold it, forget the height or the low shot. What side of the frame should we place our subjects, and then how we set up the cameras around the center cam. We're using a crossover, so you'll notice that if John waves over there to Tamar on camera 2, and I'm waving over here to Simon, hi Simon, you can see we've got a crossover, but it's going to match really well in post-production because we've placed it accordingly in a certain way. Here we've got an interviewee being interviewed off camera. Get the interviewee to gaze at the interviewer who's asking the questions. Another little note to remember is get your interviewee to remember the questions being asked and repeat it. So if I say to you, John, what's your favourite football team? You'll say,
what's my favourite football team? It is...
Or my favourite football team is... Yeah. So the answer can include the question. That way, when the editor gets hold of it, and they need to cut out the interviewer, they can just use that.
Yeah.
Exactly, you've got that. In this particular scenario, I tend to have my cameras, there's no law really, but there are some rules that you should stick to, minimum. From here we have a close-up camera coming off. Camera 1 you'll see here is sort of, the field of axis is slightly to the right this time. And so you'll place cam 2 at least 45 degrees apart. Tamar on camera 2 is 45 degrees apart, and so is Simon over here from the master cam. So we've got variance, we've got distance, so it doesn't look the same kind of shot from the master shot. And of course, get the interviewee to look to the interviewer so they're not looking directly into the camera, which can look really misleading, can't it?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so if you were talking over there to Tamar and I'm asking you a question, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it does.
Another little setup here. Take a screenshot by all means. This is a classic interview on set with two interviewees, and you'd probably frame it more like we are doing now. You can see that we've got variance. I've done dotted lines here just to show you where you can move the camera. Some are closer up than others. there's the red outline is the master wide angle shot. Camera 2, the close up, and the sexy cam, as I like to call it, sexy cam 3, ideal for getting that movement and completely different. It could be even on a gimbal or a slider or something like that. You know, make some variants with your shots, make it interesting. Okay, we have a couple of examples, John, if you want to go through this.
Yeah, so this is actually this is a video you shot
I did indeed.
in one of the face-to-face workshops that was done with Panasonic and Sennheiser. So this is the Loreleis, and yeah, it's just a couple of edits, so you get a better feel for the different camera angles. You'll also see some different microphone techniques in here. So there's people using handhelds and so on and so forth. So you get a better feel for what's going on. So let's have a look at that.
We're the Loreleis. I'm Kate. I play the piano, and it's my sister.
I'm Julia. I play the guitar and sing, and our friend Maria plays the auto harp and sings as well.
We're very excited. It's a little early to have a mini concert, but we're ready to do this.
Coffee in our veins, and we hope you're excited. Are you
excited?
Oh, 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 oh.
Dust, but why could I not conquer love? And I might have got to be with one. Why not fight this war without weapons? And I want it bad. I'm doing everything I can. Now another one bites the dust. Well, let's be clear, I trust no one. You did not break me. I'm still fighting for peace.
The light right is, you know, is some few basic rules really should be running. And the first one that we all should know is the 3-point rule, where you have a key light, the main light as we call it, on the subject matter, one side of the face. We have a fill light on the other side of the face, which is designed to knock out that shadowing from where the opposite side of the main camera, the dark side of the moon. And of course then we have the backlight to make our head and shoulders pop out from the back. Yeah. With an interviewer, with 2 interviewees, we could light a closer together key light and fill light, so we have that natural spread between the lights, and it helps both fill and key all 3 at the same time. And then you might have, as well as the backlight giving that popping look, you might have a background light to light up our backgrounds. So really think about where your lights, what kind of lights you're going to use, where you're going to place them, and make sure that everyone, your subject matter, is really well lit, else people can't see anything. The other thing I always like to remember, if we're doing documentary or interviews, in that fill light, you're looking to fill that triangle. We call it Rembrandt's triangle. It's really, really well. Audio equipment. Well, where would I be without my Sennheiser, especially the 8060? A lovely shotgun microphone. It's not too big, not too small. It fits beautifully on the S1H, on the cage rig here. And really direct sound, John. Yeah. Really, really lovely. And I can guarantee myself good audio recordings with this every time. And of course, we haven't got them here, the G4 wireless systems, you can see them on screen there. Yep. I use those Lavalier mics to close mic up the interviews, which I know you're going to be talking about shortly.
Yes, I am. This is a set of wireless mics and a set and a shotgun. What I wanted to do was to sort of go through and discuss together with you your ideals of when you start choosing different microphones and when you start working with them. With this one, this is obviously shotgun territory, and I will explain a little bit more about shotguns in a second, but I want to ask you, because you are a cinematographer, when do you make the decision to work with a shotgun? What is your shotgun scenario?
Well, of course, when the situation comes up where you can't mic up, or there's too many actors on set at once, then you're going to need someone to hold a shotgun microphone. In this particular case, we call it the boom. It's got a dead cat on top as well. And the design is that it's high enough, then you can boom it in and get very close to the subject. You can twist it if there's 2 or 3 characters. So, you know, where you haven't got that sort of freedom really to maybe mic up individually, I would always use a shotgun mic, and it's, you know, it's that standard practice nowadays in film, and has been since word go.
Yeah,
you know
the 8060 is a great microphone. It's at our higher end of our audio for video microphones, and to that reason, I've also put this here for people to have a look at. You know, we don't just do the high end audio for video microphones. For those people who are a little bit concerned with budget, you can also look at our MK600, which is this microphone here, going into your setup here. MK600 is a great entry-level shotgun microphone. It will give you really, really good sound. It doesn't need phantom power because it's battery powered as well, which is also good. You've also got the MKE440, should you want to go into the stereo side of things. And then you'll see the small one there on the smaller camera. That's our MKE400. And that's, again, a great little shotgun microphone that will help you do close work that you need to work with.
These sort of directional mics, you know, they close down that sort of, if you can imagine like a triangle or a fan, people often describe it as, closing the fan, it's more direct, yeah? Opening the fan, opening the range, if you're doing an interview with two people, you can probably get away with a
normal
condenser.
handheld microphone,
because the field is much wider. But obviously lavalier microphones being mic'd up like we are here, in this ideal scenario with an interview, it means that we can monitor very closely separation of the audio signal.
Well, I mean, this is the fun part of lavalier, is I show a wonderful image here. This poor man in the morning is going to have a nice sore chest once he pulls that duct tape off his chest. But you know, this is lavalier world. You know, especially in an interview situation, it's fine. We can have the microphone here; it can be on show. But in the filming world, you've got to hide it.
You've got to hide it. For instance, in Faustus, we're shooting our main character, Seth Morgan. He's got a long beard, grey beard, so we're having to hide the lavalier underneath the beard. Now, you have to be really careful with that sort of thing because hair can abrase against the microphone and make a horrible sort of like shifty noise, you know.
Let me just do a quick example. I mean, no, it's my finger, but still.
Yeah,
you get that wonderful.
There you go.
It's not nice. But that brings me to another point, and I'm not sure if you have done this or not, but you know, with lavalier microphones, don't have to think about them as microphones that have to stay on the performer. You can also use your lavalier microphones with wireless systems to hide them on set. I know in a lot of situations you will also find lavaliers hidden inside plant pots on the set or hidden in parts of the set. If it's a car scene, for example, clip that body pack to the sun shield, lavalier on the sun shield, things like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any work with that? You know, moving these lavaliers around?
Yeah, we hide them in plants and whatever. If we can get close and we need to use a lavalier with a shotgun mic, in fact. So we have the choice of using both. So lavalier is being wireless is, you know, such a great option to have. And also you can the new wireless options you've got with the what the G4 systems.
We've got the G4s with the 100 series.
You can wirelessly attach these,
if you get the G4 500P series, you can get a phantom power unit that we call it the SKP that will power your condenser microphones, which is really great. If you've watched the previous webinars, you'll also know our Exos wireless digital system. We've got options there to take you wireless.
Yeah, and that's great to have that sort of, you know, that dual option, which means, you know, hiding a wireless shotgun is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But one of the other things I really wanted to point out, and you sort of mentioned this a few times, your sound guy that you work with.
Yep.
Realistically, when we're talking about multicam, this is the point where you need to bring in a pro sound guy.
Yeah, you need, as well as having great mics, if you're doing a film, a major feature, or you're doing pro interviews, etc. in broadcast, you need a sound guy to come out into the field or on set. And one who knows what they're doing, you know, they've got decent recording equipment, and you know,
having a sound guy, having someone who focuses on that side of things for you is something you need to start thinking about at some point as your productions improve, because you need to spend time as a cinematographer looking at the image while someone else takes time taking care of the audio for you. We sort of mentioned it a couple of slides ago with the VR work, but obviously you have been using our VR mic. It's something that we're focusing on.
You have to be offset. With 360 video and, of course, recording with the Ambio, we have to be offset, hiding behind walls or plants,
trees. Yeah.
Bushes.
Big things.
Cars, anything. Just hide, because with 360, everything is in view all the time.
You know, from our side, we know that this immersive audio is the way things are developing, and it's something we spend a lot of time on. Whether we mix it down into a binaural mix, so like what you heard earlier, or whether we're going for this full head tracking thing. But from a cinematographer's point of view, because we've been through this wonderful world of 3D and all that stuff, and it died. Yeah. How do you see VR?
Well, VR's changing all the time. I mean, the thing is, we've had a massive explosion in the last 3 or 4 years. And the technology, incremental changes in technology and equipment and headsets, in the cameras, you know, we're only just now getting there where the quality is so good that you can also place it on a 2D screen as well, and you can play back in either.
And I just want to refocus on this, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. You know, when we're working with audio, there are some key aspects that make your life a little bit easier. The first one is choose the right microphone. Don't be limiting yourself to just one microphone. Choose the right microphone to fit the scene that you're trying to record to your limits. Obviously, you might not have a full equipment bag, but start working with your microphone, start trying to figure out which one would be best for you. The most important thing you can do is get as close to your sound source as possible. That's why we have discussed during this entire series of webinars, wireless systems, shotgun microphones, taking lavaliers, whether they're wireless lavaliers or wired lavaliers. You need to get close to your sound source, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Signal level is so key.
Yeah, it is. Be creative with your microphone placement. Don't think you have to, you know, have the shotgun here on a boom pole, the lavalier only on the person. Start experimenting with it. Use your ears, which is why I also say use a set of headphones. Listen to what you're recording so that you can see, is the microphone in the right position? Is it going to work for what I'm trying to record? And obviously the final one, if you can do it, befriend, hire, steal,
spending. It
kidnap,
really
find yourself a sound guy. Obviously, Nick has shared a lot of information with us. You've also said you've also got your codecs out there, your LUTs and so on. So for those of you who want to know a little bit more about Nick, he has kindly shared his website and his email address. So I'd like to say thank you very much.
Pleasure.
You've given us a heck of a lot of information today, and I hope for those of you watching that you find that useful. So I'd also like to say thank you to you for watching. There is the Q&A function and there is the chat function. Use whichever one is easier for you, and we'll try and answer as many of your questions as we possibly can.